Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Hello, 251. It may not catch on the way Ted Rogers and 321 did, but it is episode 251 of the best bits of the Atom Radio Breakfast Show podcast, and this is Mark Denholm from The Breakfast Show, and here we are on a Saturday when this releases. I appreciate it's a podcast and you can listen whenever you want, but today is the 13th of January when this releases, thankfully a Saturday and not a Friday. And on the way this week, a soup kitchen startup, function over fashion, overstepping the mark, asking for free stuff, your New Year's resolution, being full of excrement, shall we say, stupid reasons for fighting and an admission, a joke shamelessly stolen from my friend, and also smoking as a way to improve your mental health on the way.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Atom Radio, morning, and welcome to Monday. It is Mark Denholm at breakfast. This day, 1800, London opens its first soup kitchens for the poor. The Aberdeen Soup Kitchen was established as a charity to feed the needy in 1800 and operated until the 1990s, when it was converted to a cafe as its original purpose was thought to be no longer necessary. Little did we know what would happen later.
This is Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
Atom Radio.
By the end of the first, some CEOs would have earned more than you will earn in the whole year if you're an average paid worker. And on top of that as well, last Friday was Career Crossroads Day, the final day of the first working week of the year, where people think about changing their jobs. Today I want to know, what job did you do before the one that you do now? And why did you make the change? On air at atomradio.co.uk is my email address. Morning Mandy, and happy Monday to you, or even happy Monday, happy Monday Mandy, or happy Mandy Monday. There we are, I'll get it right second time around. Mandy says, I used to work in a doctor's surgery as a receptionist, and I did for a long time, but then I just noticed the amount of abuse I was taking got more and more. So I now work in a car dealership as a receptionist, and the people are so much nicer and more friendly. They probably are, to be honest, so they probably are. Although they're not on the phone for hours on hold at 8 a.m.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Welcome to Tuesday, and it's Mark Denholm at breakfast, streaming from Slough and loud across the net, and I hope that I find you well today, and I hope that you are not cold right now. Do you know, that's the downside to being a bald man. In the winter, you have to wear a hat because your head gets cold. In the summer, you have to wear a hat to stop your head burning, you see? So there are very few days as a bald man that you can go out without a hat. And, you know, it's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it, other than, I suppose, buy a wig. But then I'd look quite silly in a wig, wouldn't I? I think I look better in a hat than I would in a wig, if I'm honest. But anyway, morning and welcome to Tuesday.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
And the top 5 of things that people have taken the mick with asking for free goes like this. At number 5, asked about hair before then asking a hairdresser for a free full head of highlights and a cut. At number 4, borrowed my car twice and didn't top up the fuel on either occasion and then asked to borrow it again. At number 3, asked by a friend to help him move in, only to find it's on the 3rd floor of a building with no lift. And number 2, to do their self-assessment tax return for them, asking whether they'd kept records. It turns out all they had was a box of invoice and a box of receipts. And the number 1 on the top 5 this week of times people have asked for something for free taking the mick. At number 1, invited to a wedding and then told I'm the DJ for free.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
How's the New Year's resolution going? Is it still alive? Is it still alive and kicking? Or have you binned it off already? By that I mean, have you failed with the New Year's resolution? Because these things do happen, don't they? You know, like New Year's resolutions start with all good intentions and then it all goes wrong, doesn't it? So hopefully yours is still going strong. And hopefully all will be well. And by the end of the year as well, when we get to the 31st of December, you'll be able to look back and say, yes, I did it. I kept my New Year's resolution going all year long. Fingers crossed for you and good luck to you for that.
Mark Denholm at breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
6:13, home of the anthems all day long. This is Atom Radio. Morning. It is Mark Denholm at breakfast. Welcome to Wednesday. If you are a millennial or older, you're showing your age when you text, by all accounts. Gen Z have just abandoned the concept of punctuation and capital letters. Gen Z will text all in lowercase, while millennials and older, especially millennials, are said to be sticklers for punctuation. and capital letters and all that as well. Now, I don't get it, because on a modern phone, when you text, if you put a full stop in and then a space, it will automatically capitalise. Are we saying that Gen Z then cancel that? I don't know.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Eton College can't open because the toilets can't cope with 1,350 boys going back after Christmas. Who says that posh boys are full of shush? Just don't say it. I think that's best off, if I'm honest, to just keep quiet and say nothing more on that topic.
This is Mark Denholm.
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Atom Radio, morning then, Mark Denholm at breakfast. On a Thursday, a person who seems jealous or clingy is actually someone who cares the most, so be nice to them if they do appear jealous or crazy. And never be afraid to try something new, because life gets boring when you stay within the limits of what you already know.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
A study reveals that on average, we fight with our brothers and sisters 5 times a day. I'm guessing that means when we're younger. I'm hoping that doesn't mean when we're adults, because that would just be, well, that would be ridiculous. I still think 5 times a day is it's too high to be accurate, if I think. On that note, today though, I want to know, on air at atomradio.co.uk, what is the most stupid reason that you have ever got in a fight or an argument or a scrap or a squabble? And I will get to your emails, but first I will tell you a story about Mark from Slough. That's me. When I did my first day at school, off I toddled and I sat down in my chair, and then we went out to break time, to play time or whatever. And when I came back, somebody was sat in my chair. And I started a fight because somebody was sat in my chair. There I was, 4 years old, my first day at school, and my poor mum got a phone call. You're going to have to come and get Mark from school because he's had a fight. On my first day. And that was because somebody sat in my chair. So yes, I'm pleased to say now though that I do think I have far more control of my anger now, and if somebody sat in my chair now, I certainly know that I wouldn't react like that in this day and age. But that was probably me, the most ridiculous reason I've ever had a fight in my life, because somebody sat in my chair on the first ever day at school, and my poor mum, imagine the embarrassment. Excuse me, Mrs. Denham, hello. This is the school. Could you please come and get Mark? He's had a fight on his very first day. I'm so sorry.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Atom Radio, online, on mobile, on smart speaker, banging out the anthems. Morning, it is 6:12 and it's Friday. Do you know, I got offered a job and they said to me, it'll be minimum wage now, but in 6 months' time, it'll raise to £12.50 an hour. When would you like to start? I said, wait, 6 months then. Thank you, Steve Lee, for that, by the way. The man is a comic genius, even though he doesn't see it.
This is Mark Denham.
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Atom Radio, morning, 7:23, Mark Denham at breakfast. Today we're talking about a school in Birmingham. They've issued a list for comforting yourself to pupils at the school. On that list, bear in mind all the pupils are under 18, smoking a cigarette. That is one of the things that's on there. The other one, which springs to mind, is stay in bed. Now, that's all well and good, them putting that on their list. Stay in bed and smoke a cigarette. They're going to complain then, aren't they, about your attendance if you stay in bed. And also, what if you get stressed at school? They're going to complain if you smoke a cigarette. What do you say then? Well, you told me to. Today, I want to know your top tip for keeping calm and improving your mental health and comforting yourself. On air at atomradio.co.uk.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Do you know what? Going back to that topic, I do remember getting called to the headmaster's office in the morning and getting asked why it was that I was smoking on the way to school. And I remember my exact reply. Was I in school at the time? No. Then it's none of your business, is it? And left the room. That was that. That was the conversation over. And I stand by that to this day, if I'm honest. He was complaining, the headmaster was complaining that I'd been seen smoking on my way to school, and somebody had phoned the school to report it. Not my problem though, was it, eh? It's my personal business, what I do in my personal time. And at the time, you only had to be 16 to buy cigarettes, and I was 16. Therefore, nothing illegal was happening, was it? And I don't really see what that had to do with the school. So there you go. Although, going back to the reasons why you got involved in a fight, thankfully I didn't get involved in a fight over that one. But no, I still stand by that. If I was on my way to or from school, then it's my business what I'm doing and absolutely none of their business. Thank you for checking out the podcast. Episode 251 is now officially a wrap, and that's it for another week. There will be another podcast next Saturday, and that will be, by the power of mathematical deduction, episode 252. So make sure you subscribe now, either in your podcast app or on YouTube, and you'll get notified when the next podcast drops. And you can check out another week of The Breakfast Show, Monday to Friday, 6 until 10 on atomradio.co.uk. Stick/listen at the end, and then you will be able to listen. Have a good week.
Mark Denholm
At Breakfast.
Podcast.